This game is updated very frequently due to its countless contributors, which is why I'm trying to get back into it to see what's going on in the latest build. Even the smallest changes to this game have had massive impacts to the way it's played. When I originally started really investing my time into this game, it was going through the age of the Slim Shady, where if you try to go night raiding in a city after the first few days, you would be followed by an eerie display of destruction as a horde of shady zombies who have adapted to the dark home in on you. Now their evolution rates are much lower, and you'll mostly just see them as lone individuals, which trivializes them to something that you just beat with a stick. Unless you're far enough into where they have evolved into thick shadies, which will bend you over and break you like a stick. On top of how much the game changes, I feel like this game would be a lot more popular if its mechanics were more advertised. That's not to say that there isn't a website that shows you basic information, like item spawn locations, crafting recipes, the stats of every monster you encounter, but there's a lot that you would only know if you went on GitHub and either code dived or looked at the pull request. For example, over a 90-day period from the start of the game, normal wildlife lose most of their spawn weight to undead, mutant, and insect wildlife. This process actually has jumps in a few intervals, which marks jumps in difficulty when exploring places like swamps and forests. Swamps in particular are much more dangerous after the first 7 days. I had a solid fear of swamps before I made this video, and I overcame that and learned that they are relatively safe at the start of the game. So about where this video is headed, well, I originally tried to aimlessly explore the game, but then lost interest after literally everywhere I went was infested with the one thing I hate dealing with. But now I saw that they added beaches to World Generation, and to me they kind of represent the Minecraft farmlands. Basically, you go in a direction for long enough and you'll eventually run into a shoreline bordering an endless ocean. Now these oceans are very far away except for the one to the east, which is only roughly 10 of our maps away. This shorter distance is in reference to where the game canonically takes place, which is New England near the east coast of America. My goal is to reach that eastern beach, and when I originally booted up our world just to test around and relearn the controls in preparation for this, I immediately got flashbanged when I opened the map and saw that the closest town to my evac shelter was named after the town I live in. At first I came to the conclusion that they made the game dox the player when deciding what to name the town from which they escaped from in the evacuee scenario. What actually happened was that the town I live in just so happens to be close enough to where the game takes place to be included in the pool of random town names, and RNG decided to vibe check me. Now, going into the game, I only turned wander spawns on and made sure city size and spacing were on default setting. I used a basic evacuee survivor with no starting skills and all points put in the stats. I wanted to be limited to things that any generic character can do, which is why I avoided super powerful traits like quick or fleet-footed. Okay, we spawned on a table. So I initially spawn in the evacuee shelter and do the usual looting for supplies. I even do that little starting routine of smashing lockers until I get a pipe to later craft into a makeshift wrench. I expect to travel very light because this is a very surface level playthrough meant to explore World Generation and learn from it. And when I say surface level, I mean that in more than one way. This world is as deep as the mechanics that govern it. Okay, our journey begins. I need to go... I don't even know how far it is. So each 180 by 180 apparently, all the way to 10 or whatever. I'm not even sure. I even know what to call the large region areas, like the large chunks. What is that shit? So the initial hurdle that I was struggling with when going into this short playthrough was actually getting comfortable traveling through certain places like forests. If I already get stopped by a wall of forest, I'm gonna be upset. I do not like walking through forests. And for the next several minutes, you'll see how map generation dictates the way I travel, which is how I normally play, where my exploration goes through the path of least resistance. But this time my goal kind of forces me to go east no matter what. I do not like roadblocks, but I must investigate. I no longer want to investigate. I do not like roads surrounded by forests. Because you run into stuff like that. I don't like that. Giant worm. My game froze. Why would you be trying to give tinted meat a charge? Okay, that's a dead end. I have to go south. I'm surrounded. Roads are safe. For now. Parking lot, wait. For what? That's another worm. Why are there so many worms? Since I was still very early and hadn't done anything yet, I figured I would try making a play for a decent looking car, but it ended up having a faulty engine which I couldn't use. Fortunately, aphids are still the common tanky pacifists that I know and love. These bugs are super good to have around because they don't run super fast away from you, unlike most wildlife, and they're tanky enough to survive against most enemy creatures. After that, I end up following the road north until I come across my first radio tower. These are relatively common near the outskirts of towns, and they give a good way to scout a chunk of the map while also giving you things like maps or binoculars, which further help scouting. The only issue is a large percentage of these radio towers are infested by wasps, and I have PTSD from seemingly safe radio towers being certain death. Okay, what's gonna fucking happen is I'm gonna climb this, and there's gonna be a fucking wasp queen or whatever the fuck it's called. And I have no way of knowing until it's within range where it's aggroed on me, and I'm just gonna die. That's what's gonna happen. I hate radio towers now. I forgot the peak button, no. This radio tower ended up having a pair of binoculars and a map of the area I'm in, which is named after the nearest town. So I can luckily cut through here, go to here. And after using the map, I noticed that now the game highlights places that are revealed by a map you used, which I can see being useful for trying to pinpoint places you haven't explored yet, so it's a nice little quality of life feature. After that, I make my way east, making sure to avoid a crashed pod full of zomborgs. Long story short, they are zombified individuals that belong to a new friendly faction. This game already had lore pointing at there being a multiverse, but this friendly faction basically represents humans from alternative Earths that succumbed to the cataclysm. Unfortunately, this sci-fi trope of alternative Earths has breached superhero comics and movies and has now found its way within this game as well. Another thing that I noticed is that acid anthills now just show up as regular anthills on the map, which I guess makes sense. How would you tell from far away? So I got cut off by force again, but I found a stream which is new. It's a little slow to walk in, but it seems like a really safe passage to get through the forest since there is more vision to work with. I'm gonna make it through this. The reason I ultimately didn't travel by stream was the spider nest nearby. Along with there being a large town on the other side of the forest, which means a lot of zombies wandering around from there. I ended up cutting through a forest to the north because there was a trail cutting through it and it seemed a lot more isolated. And that's when I got jump scared in a turn-based game. I don't know why, I just feel safer when I'm following a forest trail. Probably. No! Fuck me. Worms are actually really weak, it's just that I saw the trail it left behind before I saw the worm itself. Like, this is like the 6th time I've ran into a worm, like, why are they so common? There are much more dangerous burrowing creatures in the game, and right now worms feel very common just to throw that off. Okay, I had issues with wasps, now I'm dealing with worms all the time. Yep. After that, I visited the speedway to look for a decent vehicle, but then got chased off by a feral cop, which forced me to get comfortable with going through forests again because there was no slow enough animals for me to distract it with. I had to have lost him. That's another evac shelter. So then I just went on and continued going through the rest of the forest. I also made sure to trail behind any benign wild animals I come across since they'll likely give me an early warning in case something's up ahead. There's another city right here. Another radio tower. I'm tempted to climb that. It's gonna have wasps. Wasp? Oh my god. I was so scared that I was climbing a wasp tower. Now armed with a new map, a clear path to the way east, and a working vehicle parked at the base of the radio tower, I finally start making real progress. Although I don't proceed without first looking back at how far I traveled on foot so far. I've reached the second region, but I also need to consider I started halfway through the first. I plan on skipping forward a lot more from here on out. Whenever I watch someone play this game, it always boils down to driving around a ton, and I end up getting bored. This isn't meant to be a playthrough about driving around aimlessly hoping to roll the dice for somewhere good. It's about finding map generation to force my way to a location while discovering new things along the way. That being said, it didn't take too long for us to reach our first obstacle on the road. Sometimes a bridge will have a roadblock on the end. I'm pretty sure these are a lot more dangerous in the past, but now they're pretty trivial. Just avoid the minefield and tear down the tents to make room for your vehicle to squeeze through. I did a small detour to visit a DCL, but then the game tried loading a condom in preparation for the ass fucking it was going to give me, so I ran away. Wait. Then I had to force my way through a very small town. I think I can make it through this. You fucking shoot at me. I went straight for a radio tower, but it turned out to have a wasp infestation that was at war with the fungaloids. Another wasp. There's a wasp tower here. But since I was already here, I checked out what looked like an extremely large crater on the map. That's not a crater, that's fake news. Oh, wait, yeah, there is. After several minutes of driving, I run into a familiar friend. Migo? After some more driving, we run into a prison bus that spawned in a very unfortunate location, but we managed to force our way through. Get by this, I think. There. Another wasp tower. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, so far only 2 towers, 3 towers I think we've been to have not had wasps, and we've seen like just as many, if not more. Is that radio tower even? Nope, that's another wasp tower. Never mind. Can a vehicle go through shallow water? Hey, look, more wasp. Apparently they also had meadows, which seem a little rare. Still, they help make their world look a little better alongside roads. After passing by a bunch of small towns, I run into a major obstacle. I'm blocked by a city with seemingly no other way forward without serious backtracking. I didn't know the city was that large at first, which resulted in me forcing my way through, not realizing what I was getting myself into. There's no turning back now, unfortunately. is so bad. Oh my gosh. I'm lucky there's a gap right here I can get through. I won't know until I get. There's no gap. I can go this way. Why is this city just endless? What did I crash? A tree trunk. Okay, this is the part we get out. Some driving. So this fucking mega city. Best option is just to keep going west, I think. Even though that's against the goal. Unless I see a vehicle that's 100% I can drive, I'm kind of stranded. Remember, there might be a car there. Let's just start. Another car. Cardinal. Just a lot of friendly animals. So after my previous vehicle was devoured by the tree trunk monster, I found an even better car for getting to the rest of the city. Yeah, we just have to speed really quickly. I think I still want to go north. We can go north, right? I'll wait till the next street. Rottweiler. Okay, how about now? Can I go north? not a single zombie. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Oh, officer, where are you? Oh, wait, okay, I can keep going forward then. Yeah, they're pulling them south. I mean, he was pulling them south. How are you surviving that long? Another car. Did I lose a wheel? And a scout tower. Yeah, that's a scout tower. No bridges. We're just fucked. Fuck. I wasn't paying attention to it. Fuck. Okay, what do I do here? I cut. The car behind me is unusable. Technically we go over here. The cap is a lie. Fuck. Okay. Interesting. Lucky puppy. Oh my god, it's still going. This is how far I traveled. It just keeps going. Okay, so the play there was just to wait, because apparently there was people that were distracted while I was ahead of me. Oh, I think I see the end. I hate cities. What am I hitting? Oh, this is so bad. Hurry up, get it. Hurry up. Oh, that was so bad. There's no vehicle here. Stop driving. Give me that. Okay, so it ends right there. That apartment complex. Squirrel, I know it's safe over here. So we're almost halfway and we're limited to being on foot again. quickly found a new vehicle after shortcutting through a forest and immediately get back to driving on the open road, although I'm still looking for a way to get across the river. And there's no way to cross the river. After getting across, I immediately saw obvious signs of dead ends as roads are cut off by forest. That's 3 fucking anthills next to each other. New Tower Cemetery. That road likely ends in the trailhead. I opt to travel back down along the other side of the river to find room to continue east. Like more wasp. But then I happened to cross another river, with any possible safe passage being hard to scout due to a smaller but seemingly densely populated city safeguarding it. I don't see a bridge. I think I have a better idea. We're just gonna cut through this. I hate swamps. There's so much swamp. This was when I overcame my fear of swamps and learned that they are rather mundane and safe on day 1. Ultimately, I ended up abandoning my vehicle and found a weird peninsula where I was able to train my swimming skill to safely get across, although giving up all of my supplies in the process. Here's another worm. I think the crashed airliner is new. It's a lot larger than the other plane and helicopter crashes I've seen, and this is an actual location on the map. It started getting dark, so I started frantically looking for a vehicle. Failing that, I settled for a house that I needed to clear out a bit. Even though the world is still rather tame, I'd rather not travel on foot at night without a decent weapon and more health. That being said, there is only a short window in the game where traveling around on foot at night, away from cities, is viable to begin with. After the first week or so, you'll be hunted by the boogeyman. Think of it like what Dwarf Fortress Adventure Mode used to be like, with similar rules. Forgot to mention, the moon phase and local weather was a little suboptimal for the first night. After staying in the house for a day, I ended up coming out the next night to see if I can make any more progress with the extra vision. I ended up getting cucked by bad weather again, so I went into an evac shelter that I stumbled into, and used the lockers inside to craft another makeshift coat bar, then waited for sunrise. The next day was off to a really bad start. I didn't know paramilitary zombies were just really strong and fast soldier zombies. It was pretty fast, so I expected it to just be comparable to a tough zombie, and I ended up having to leave it in the forest. Although not without a zombie dog almost finishing me off. I swear, I would be fine if things would just stop hitting my torso. Especially a dog that wouldn't be able to reach it easily. In case you didn't notice the pattern yet, I looked for another trailhead and got a car. I can't believe it's not wasp. I hate paramilitary zombies. Hey, look, more wasps. We're on the radio tower. And I was literally just thinking, like, there's not a As I'm driving around, I end up clearing out a motel with the power of Carfu. And I get a fire axe off of a feral. And the motel reception room had the best map I could ever ask for. What's a satellite map? What? And I spend a while at the motel to heal back up. Why is there so many here? Holy shit. Why is there a roadblock? That's just evil. This is the only science lab I've seen in a really long time. It takes a lot of hits for a Triffo to go down. More wasps. Here I ended up having to get out of my car to clear a small horde of zombies because they won't give me the breathing room I needed to squeeze through this town brushed up against a forest. But I had the health and the fire axe to take care of them pretty easily. What'd you drop? Okay. Among Us zombie. Find another radio tower, but this one was from hell and is why I peek whenever climbing up radio towers now. That shadow right there. What's that shadow? Okay, I think I don't have to get out. I can just cross this. Yep. hours and hours of driving and backtracking, I came across a really thick wall of large towns and forests. I spent like 30 minutes traveling around trying to find a safe way around this thing. I'm already at the overmap region where the beach should start, so I settled to just finish the journey on foot. Then I found my first scientist body site. These are apparently extremely rare now, which is a really big deal because it makes finding the good types of labs a lot harder. Over there. The rest of the walk turned out to be really sketchy. The only bridge forward was surrounded by swamps in a very small town. I'm 4 days in, so I think it was possible that the swamp could decide to spawn something in that could kill me if it wanted to. But I got lucky sneaking by everything. Oh, ocean. Wait, we made it. I do end up trying to go further east despite satisfying my goal because I wanted to see how far east I could go, and practically not very far. I was kinda boxed in with several towns and a dairy farm full of zombie cows. I thought maybe I could kill one of them at a time to get through, and nope, they're super fast and hit like a truck. So I saved scum just to look at the map more, along with looking at the journey I made. I think the final verdict is I need to go back to upping the city spacing a bit. There's a few too many towns blocking out the spawns of locations that only spawn far away from towns, like labs and military buildings, which I feel are integral to the later portions of the game since they provide a way for you to scale and power with the rest of the world over time. I don't know how to feel about the difficulty that comes with traveling in this game. It feels like it's in a weird spot because the devs are pushing for vehicles to be harder to upgrade and maintain. I think the ideology is they want vehicles to be a luxury, but that will probably just result in a vehicle crafting system that has had so much love over the years fall from grace, as vehicles just become something you find, use, and ditch for near infinitely spawning replacement without putting much thought into them. I didn't mean to end the video on a low note, but I can't really talk about anything else without opening a new can of beans. There's a lot of directions this game is being taken in, and at the very least we know this game has a future.